Tax investigators at Newcastle United, filmed by a passerby. Business records were reportedly seized, as well as computers and mobile phones. Possible evidence in a suspected tax and national insurance fraud. And then several arrests, names as yet unconfirmed. And at the taxpayer-funded former Olympic Stadium, now home to West Ham, who say they are cooperating after they too received a visit from the tax authorities in a football tax fraud probe involving 180 agents that stretches from north to south and then overseas. The amount of money swilling around world football is bigger than ever, from broadcast rights to transfer money. And HMRC is clamping down. Since 2014, the British taxman has recouped over £150 million from football rule breakers. HMRC say today's raids are in connection with a suspected £5 million income tax and national insurance fraud, part of a cross-channel investigation that ends up in France. And look at the transfer sums spent by just the 2 clubs known to have been raided today. In the last 7 years, Newcastle spent over £190 million on players, with 15 of them from French clubs. West Ham spent roughly the same, £198 million, signing 5 players from French clubs. The well-off often use havens to store assets, which presents a global challenge for tax authorities.
43 players, 8 agents and 12 football clubs.
And last December, HMRC told a parliamentary committee they were investigating dozens of football players who are suspected of abusing image rights to pay less tax.
I think it's very common, not just in the sports world, but in the performance artists. Image rights have been exploited in structures for a number of years. With transfer fees, I can see that it would be quite easy to structure an arrangement to place money into an offshore environment.
Consider what happened with the world's most famous player, Lionel Messi, convicted last year in Spain of criminal tax fraud. Much of Messi's considerable income consisted of image rights. They were transferred overseas to tax havens, which meant Messi reported almost nothing in taxable income to Spain, where he was tax resident. Newcastle were celebrating promotion back to the Premier League on Monday. Today's news has not gone down well.
It's a shame for the Newcastle fans. They've got nothing to do with tax scandals. They deserve all the happiness that they've got this week.
It all depends on what happens, in the sense that if it's something that's going to be deduction of points, or is it something that would get us stripped of something, of course, that would be a worry.
Football and fraud. A challenge for both HMRC and the football authorities, who could end up issuing fines or even docking points if wrongdoing is eventually found.